On the night of February 22nd, 1732, Augustine Washington sat at a table by candlelight. A family Bible lay open before him. Gus, as everyone called him, was a tobacco farmer in the colony of Virginia. With a pen made from the quill of a turkey, he wrote down the name of his son, George, who had been born that very morning. George's mother, Mary, was Gus's second wife. His first wife had died, leaving him with 2 teenage sons. One night, not long before George was born, a bolt of lightning shot down the chimney of the Washingtons' farmhouse. It killed a woman who was visiting Mary. Mary worried that the lightning was a sign of bad luck. It might mean that there'd be something wrong with her baby. But George was a strong, healthy baby. People said he looked like his mother. He grew into a tall, athletic boy who loved to ride horses through the green countryside. In later years, he was known as the best horseman in Virginia. When George was about 7, the family moved to Ferry Farm. It was across the river from Fredericksburg, Virginia. By this time, George had a younger sister, Betty, and 3 younger brothers, Samuel, John, and Charles. People said George and Betty looked a lot alike. As a grown woman, she would do funny imitations of her famous brother. A famous lie. Many generations of school children learned the story of George Washington chopping down a cherry tree on his family's farm. When his angry father asked who had done such a terrible thing, George confessed right away. "I cannot tell a lie," he said. "Pa, it was I who chopped it down." The story showed how honest George was, even as a small boy. The story, however, was entirely made up. Soon after Washington's death, a man named Mason Locke Weems wrote a book about the first president. Weems wanted Washington to seem perfect, and so he made up stories such as the one about the cherry tree. It took more than 100 years before the truth came out about the untruthful book. There isn't any information about how George and his father got along, but we do know he wasn't close to his mother. Mary Washington was a cold, bossy woman. All George's friends were scared of her. Strangely, she never took pride in her eldest son, not even after he became president. His letters to her would begin, "Honored Madam," instead of "Dear Mother." And he never introduced his wife, Martha, to her. The person he loved best in the world was his kind half-brother, Lawrence. Lawrence was Gus's oldest son. He was 14 years older than George. Lawrence had gone to school in England. He had learned Greek and Latin. He knew how to dress like a gentleman and act like a gentleman. There wasn't enough money to send George off to England. Instead, he was taught at home, probably by his father and Lawrence. George was great at math. Anything with numbers came easily to him. But he was a terrible speller. It embarrassed him all his life. When George was only 11, his father died. From time to time, George was invited for long visits to Mount Vernon. This was the home of Lawrence and his new bride, Anne Fairfax. George loved it there. In 1746, George was asked to move in for good. And off he went. He probably was happy, too, to get away from his mother.